Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your college basketball betting this season. Get analysis of every play, prop, and point at BetOnline. You'll find the latest odds, bracket contests, team matchups, and game trends at BetOnline. Updated odds for everything from live games, the conference championships, right through the Final Four and championship game. BetOnline is your college basketball headquarters this season. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Be sure to use our promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your bonus. BetOnline.AG, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash here with our host, former legendary 76ers point guard Eric Snow, and my brother Teja Dash. Guys, I hope everyone's brackets still intact. Eric, how's yours doing so far?
I actually am leading, but you know how you lead because you got the total number of points, but your highest possible points isn't that high. Then that would be good. Purdue and Arizona really stuck it to me. Look, when Arizona, the first day when Arizona and Virginia lost, those were the only two I got incorrect. I got every single other one correct for those two games.
And those days were a crapshoot. Like I did bad.
And those were the games that were probably more quote unquote supposed to happen more than the other games.
Yeah.
So all the other first round upsets, quote unquote first round upsets, I called, except for those two.
Man. But you had Arizona and Duke going far.
Yeah, I had them both going to Sweet 16. No. I'll take that back. I had Tennessee beating Duke.
Okay.
I had Tennessee beating Duke. I had Arizona. I actually had Arizona going to the Final Four. That's what got me. I had them going to the Final Four.
Man.
And I didn't in Purdue, I had them going to maybe Elite Eight or Sweet 16. Virginia actually had losing to San Diego State.
Okay.
That's not bad.
So that was just one game.
All the upsets I picked didn't happen. So
yeah, I picked what was the other upsets? I picked them.
Still in good shape though.
The Princeton one.
Princeton was Arizona. No, I didn't pick that.
Yeah. Furman, UVA.
Creighton going far will get me a lot of points. If Creighton goes far, then I'm in really good shape. That was my gig.
Do you have FAU going this far?
No.
Yes. I had them beat Memphis.
Dang.
But I had them losing to Purdue.
Okay.
I'm going to consult with you more next year about this stuff.
So that's what I'm saying. It was the first 2 days, not the second day.
Yeah.
So the first
You're going to be my first day consultant next year.
First 2 days, I watched because I had them. I thought that Memphis, even though Memphis should have won the game, I felt that was a game that FAU, if they could win one, that was a game they could win.
Yeah, they host Memphis in that one. That time,
you give them the time. You give them the timeout, they win the game.
Yeah.
You had 3 people calling timeout. Plus, if their best player doesn't get injured, they win the game, really.
Mm-hmm. It was also weird, too. They didn't put Dandridge back in the game at the end when they needed some post presence. Something happened when they were arguing on the sideline. I think they just kept him off because of that.
I mean, if their point guard, their best player don't get injured, he was arguably the top player, top 2 players in the whole conference. So
yeah, for sure.
That hurt them.
Yeah. Now, Michigan State, what do you think their chances are this weekend?
I have to say, we have a winnable region.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be easy, but it's winnable. If we came into the tournament and said that we can win 2 games between Kansas State, Tennessee, and FAU, you would think the chances are higher versus Kansas State, Purdue and whoever the third seed was.
Mm.
I mean, the second. Well, Marquette. Well, we beat the second seed, so we can beat the second seed. We can beat all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Sure.
They higher seeds than all the rest of those teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Marquette winning that one.
Sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Come on.
You should have asked me that one.
Yeah, I thought we talked about Michigan State at least getting to the Sweet 16 on the show, Teja. What are you doing?
Yeah, I know. I just, before I actually fill out my bracket, I just, I did my flash research and people were really high on Marquette.
As far as Marquette, I just thought that I love Shaka and what he does, but I felt that them being a smaller team, it allows us to play our best players because our best players are when we're small.
Yeah, I remember that.
If we didn't turn the ball over, if we didn't turn the ball over, we could beat them.
Yeah. Yeah, the K-State games are going to be a good one. Game of guards.
Yeah. Be interested to see how they match up with us because their point guard is good, Noel, but he's small. So if he guards AJ is going to post him up. So he's probably going to guard Tyson, which is a tough matchup, which means he's going to have to work. And he's actually do a lot on the offensive end. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. Calipari got a lot of flack for calling him the little guy or something like that on Twitter. Apparently, after the game, he was referring to Noel and he called him the little guy. And
I heard that. People
crushed him for saying that. Yeah, he forgot his name. He was just describing him.
You and your people.
He's like, what is he, like 5'10", 5'11"?
Yeah, I mean,
he's small.
So I should be offended every time somebody called me the big guy?
Yeah, I mean, apparently, yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like Calipari is one of those guys under the microscope too. Any wrongdoing, they're going to call him out for something.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it kind of depends on who they is. Sometimes we giving they a little too much of a voice.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the Sixers. Last night we're coming off a tough loss, double overtime loss to the Bulls. And that was our last home game for the next 9 days. So my question to you guys is, how much did that game hurt us? I know we need to win as much as possible going into this tough stretch we're going to talk about in the show. But how much did that game hurt us? And are you guys kind of concerned about James Harden's foot injury that he kind of re-aggravated during the game last night?
Well, I mean, first off, the game does hurt. I mean, because it's a home game. It's a very winnable game. Against the team we've had success, versus, recently, a lot of success. And it's before this road stretch. So it was a huge game. I think you have to win some of these road games and with some of this stretch that we have. You got to win a good majority of those games to make this game not as big or not as relevant. But this game looms large if we have a losing streak or negative wins versus losses on this upcoming 9 days or whatever it is where we have this tough stretch. So I think it is a bad loss. How bad of a loss will depend on what we do from here on out. As far as James' foot, not sure. I mean, you got to think that it was bothering him last night. Not sure if it was just that particular time, and maybe if a day or so can help him feel better. Maybe it wasn't just a prolonging thing; it's just a right now thing or last night thing. But you could tell. I mean, you can tell that something was bothering him, and not necessarily just from misses and makes. It was just from explosiveness.
Yeah,
he was still getting by guys, but you didn't see the lift that you had seen recently.
He was losing the ball a lot too. Just looked not sharp. So
some of that could be that, but I don't want to say it's all that. I mean, somebody could just be not a good game for him. I mean, that's very possible. But I think it's going to come down to how he can bounce back starting on Wednesday, and also if he's able to play in some of these back-to-backs, will let me know a lot as far as the injury. So it's almost like a wait and see, like how bad this loss is.
Yeah. And Pat Bev was getting him the business last night. He was like pressing him like all the way up the court all game.
Yeah, but that wouldn't make him struggle from doing that stuff, because I mean, guys get pressure. I mean, if you got a pressure release, just get a ball to Maxey. I mean, it's a pressure release. You ain't got to bring the ball up against anybody. Just give it to him, then get the ball when you get it across half court. Like that's not something that should really be an issue.
Yeah, I saw him wincing a few times too. Just kind of, you can tell he was in pain for something. They said Embiid was a little bit as well, so they're both dealing with something. Great. It's a rough loss just because it was, especially a double overtime one. You want to come away with the win after spending all that extra time on it. It seems like we have, I mean, not to say Chicago's a bad team. They're not a bad team. We are better than them. We're a superior team. But we have like one of these every month where we have a game where we should have won to an inferior opponent and we lose. I think that March was our only one because, Miami gives us work. Boston's obviously a tough team in February. We lost to Dallas, and Dallas is not, I wouldn't say too inferior. I mean, we're better, but Dallas is a good team. Those like Orlando loss was pretty rough in January. And then there was one other one too. Which one was it? Oh yeah, it was Chicago again. Chicago's beat us 2 in a row, actually.
Yeah.
After owning them, they come out and they're, they know that stuff,
12 straight wins up until the one win the first win they had against us this year.
Yeah. Now 2 in a row. How about that? Yeah, it hurts because
Joel didn't play. Did Joel play that game?
No, I don't think because I think he is 12. I think he's 12-0 against them, right? So I don't think he played in the January one. Check right now though. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see if even without Harden, I want to see how we bounce back. Embiid did not play in the other game. By the way, so yeah, that Embiid streak is now gone. Man, our road is so tough right now. It's not even just the next 4 or 5 road games. It's just this whole back half schedule is so hard. We need to win some of those games that you could say 50-50 or you wouldn't be so upset about a loss. Now you got to come back and win that. I really want to see how we respond to the Bulls. That's going to be very curious because last time we lost like this, I think it's the same thing happened in Miami, right? Miami beat us at Philly, and then we came back and played the next day without, I think, Embiid and Harden, right? Both of them.
No, I think it was just Embiid. I think Harden.
James played. I thought it was just Joel.
It was just Joel. Yeah. We might have a similar one, but this time without James. So I really want to see how we respond against them on Wednesday. That'll tell me a lot. But yeah, man, it was brutal. But as far as James getting so much flack right now, all right, that was his worst game probably as a Sixer. Like everyone's due a clunker, man. I'm not going to start saying like, what does this mean for him going forward? It's a bad game. Everyone has a bad game. So, on top of that, I'm more concerned about the injury than I am about his poor play. Because between the injury, just him having an off day or the defense, I think it's a combination of off day and just injury. I don't think Pat Bev, like Russ says, he's just running around out there, man.
I wouldn't go that far, but I get what you're saying.
Hey, I'm just quoting your boy, Eric. No, I think it's more annoying. I'll tell you what, when you're having a bad day, Pat Bev's a bad guy to be guarding you. Yeah. Because he'll make you think that it's him the entire time. So I'm sure that was just terrible timing to have that happen with him. But yeah, I think you'll wait to see what happens in Chicago. I think Chicago splitting with them It's not the craziest thing. And how we do in this road trip, man, that's we really have to, I'm gonna say win out because it's a tough little trip, but that'll tell us how bad this one stings in the long run.
Yeah. So bouncing off, that's our next topic is talking about kind of the road trip. So we have 12 games in the next 19 nights, or 12 games in 19 nights, not the next 19 nights. But although they're all playoff teams that we're playing against, the most notable ones are at Golden State, at Phoenix, at Denver, at Milwaukee, and we're home against Boston, Dallas, and Miami, and we have 3 back-to-backs within that. So obviously to have a extremely backloaded schedules, murderer's row, as some were calling it. My question to you guys, how do the Sixers navigate seeding while also keeping guys fresh? Because Doc got a lot of flack last night where we played James Harden 47 minutes when he was clearly, he looked like he was hurt, and we played him 47 minutes. How do we try to compete with this whole top 3 seeding thing while trying to keep our guys fresh as we head into the playoffs?
Are we conceding the second and first seed?
No.
Then you got to win the game. It's like I don't know how you can say how we keep them fresh. You keep them fresh by the off days.
Yeah.
So unless we're conceding the first or second seed, we got to try to win the game. I think PJ not playing maybe added some of those minutes. So when he's back, I mean, you can probably cut some minutes. Because then Maxey and Melton can play more guard instead of you can play less 3 guard with him in there. That's one way that you can do it. For everyone to play. But if we're still trying to get to number 1 or number 2 at best seed, we're gonna have to play. Just and I think you push for it until it's kind of plays itself out. If you push forward, then 3 games left, we stuck in our seat, then you can back off. But if that's still the goal, you gotta push for it right now and then back off whenever that ends. I mean, we still, no matter what, have from the last game of the year to the first playoff game, you still have 5 or 6 days off.
Yeah, it's true.
So we're not in a play-in situation. So you will have time in between those games, and then once the playoffs start, there's no back-to-backs.
Yeah.
And especially that first round, I mean, you ended early. That's even more of a break.
Yep.
And sometimes the first round, because of so many games, they stretch the series. So sometimes you're gonna have 3 days off, and so I just think you got to push until the seeding plays itself out. If it goes to the last game, it goes to the last game. So, yeah, like I said, it just depends on whether you concede in that seed or those 2, the top 2 seeds.
And even if you are set, let's say we go on like 3 or 4 game losing streak and the number 2 seed ain't happening and we concede to take the 3, even then, do you want to go into the playoffs stumbling? You want to go in playing well, right? You want to go in with momentum.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go in with that, but health is more important than that. Even though that is important, like you go in playing well, because it's almost like not playing well, you can almost hit the reset button and know it's a new season, but health, you can't hit the reset button.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Like, that's not going to go away because of the playoffs, but how you play can technically go away because it's, because it's a new season. It's 0-0. So it really doesn't matter what you did to a team during the regular season.
Yeah.
But you also got Cleveland not right behind you too. So
yeah, I think I read we'd have to go. I think so. I thought I read someone we have to go like 6-6 for them, or like anything worse than 6-6, and they can come back on us, and they have to win most of their games too. Something like that. But with our schedule, that's not that crazy. Like, I mean, that would be one of our worst stretches of the season, or not counting the beginning one. Actually, it'd be right along the lines of that because we were 500. We'd win one, lose one, win one, lose one, win 2, lose 2.
I mean, that's why I was saying this Chicago game is was big, but
I know
how going forward could make it even bigger.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that at Chicago is like from here on out.
Saying, like we go to Chicago and we lose, like we've lost a season series against Chicago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. From here on out, it's pretty much.
And then Golden State is Golden State, like,
and it's at Golden State.
Yes, and they've shown they're different at home.
Yeah.
And they're a championship team, and they perform like champions in big moments, and that's what this game is going to be when Philly comes to town. It's going to be a big moment. We know what they do, and
it's end of season. Like, you're getting everyone's best. Like, this is like the
closest. And me and my family will be in the house too that night.
Oh yeah,
got some snow magic.
Yeah, there you go.
So, and then that's a back-to-back. Going to Phoenix.
Yep.
Another team fighting for a position. I mean, the Clippers, I believe, are only a game or so behind Phoenix.
Yeah, man, it's tight. You're going to get everyone's best now.
And Denver, that's everyone's made that a big game. It's almost like it's the deciding factor of the MVP to let Marcus and his people talk. 2-game deciding the MVP, I guess. This whole year.
MVP tournament.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying that both Denver and Milwaukee games will be the deciders for the or the talking heads in the mainstream media world are saying that.
Yeah, because they don't watch all the other games. They just watch those games.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
They also don't want the last one to matter because that was a huge game for us to beat Milwaukee the way we did, for us to beat Denver the way we did. So it's like,
well, what I think was it Stephen A. Someone was saying that I think it was Stephen A. Stephen A. was saying that the Denver-Philadelphia game, the one in Denver, is more important for Jokic than Embiid because Embiid's already shown up for one of the games. Jokic has to have a response, and if he doesn't have a response, then we could be looking at Embiid.
Jokic didn't play bad.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter was.
Man, but Joel was just better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he scored better, but he is a better scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Joel's going to get 30, but Joker has to have 20 and 20. Like what are y'all judging? Like what? That's why I don't get into
probably come up big in the clutch because if there's one thing that's Jokic has been getting dogged on, it's been his clutch minutes lately.
I got something. How about winning matters?
Yeah, it does.
So if Joel has that big game he had, right, and we lose, is it different? Do you think people view it different?
Probably. I would say, losing at his home court with Jokic, beating him, coming in Philly, beating him. Because I remember last year when we played in Philadelphia, Embiid had a good game against Denver, but Denver beat us, and that was that was one of the factors that they brought up in the discussion at the end of the season.
So, do you think if Joel had a bad game and we still won, people would be saying Joel MVP?
That's my point. I mean, I think the MVP talk was because he played the way he played and scored the way he scored, and
they won. Yes.
So winning matters. So if winning matters, they beat us, and they end up with a better record. But on top of that, Giannis ends up with the best, and Milwaukee ends up with the best record in the league.
Yeah.
I go back to what I said before. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5. This should be the closest MVP race we've seen 1 through 5.
Definitely top 3 is just like, man.
They're gonna top 3 have probably separated themselves from everybody else, but I don't think they necessarily separated themselves from everybody else. I think they just separated themselves from people talking about it because they've made it a Jokic and Embiid thing. And while all this is going along, Giannis is being Giannis.
Yeah,
Bucks have best record in the league. So it's like you make an argument for Joel, you make an argument for Jokic, and by doing that, you're also making an argument for Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, let the season finish. It may be different. Sixers may have the best record. Then to me, it's a no-brainer who would win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if they don't, it's gonna be tight.
They one of the big NBA accounts posted Jokic's last like 6 games, and they're crazy stats.
Of course.
But I was like, wait a minute. And I looked it up. He's 2-4 in that stretch.
Yes.
You didn't post that.
No, that's what I'm saying. They post what's relevant to prove their point.
Yes. Yeah. And that
people do that for Joel too.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But in Joel's defense, in his last 10 games stat that someone else posted, I think we're like 9-1. So
yeah,
he does have that going for him too. But
that's why the betting lines have changed during the win streak while they were having that 2-4 streak going on. That's why it's kind of fun.
And that's what I'm saying, because Milwaukee was 16-0 and Giannis never passed Joel and Joker.
Yeah,
never passed them, and they won 16 straight games.
Yeah,
he missed some of those too, though, right?
They won 16 straight games, man.
So I guess Drew should be like top 25 in MVP voting too. Then
no, I mean we won games when Joel didn't play.
Yeah,
during our streak, maybe one. Yeah,
I'm just saying, not even during the streak or not. I'm just saying this year.
In general, no, we have we won without our stars.
Milwaukee, yeah, it's different when you got a streak and you can win a game without a guy.
Mm.
They didn't go on the streak without a guy. That's different.
Yeah. I do want to ask you guys a question. So I guess over the last week, it's kind of more noticeable, but so the Cleveland game, I feel like Embiid's getting called for more fouls than he usually does, especially over the last week. We had the whole Cleveland game where, we reviewed it and he didn't get fouled out, but he came very close to getting fouled out of that game. Then last night got fouled out.
I thought that was a weak ass call.
That was a terrible call. But is that something to be concerned about? Embiid kind of getting more up in the fouls? I guess going five a game, especially as we get closer to the playoffs. I've never seen him foul this much before. It's never been a problem with him before.
Fouls can come from increased minutes that not necessarily that put you at risk of fouling, but increased minutes put you at risk of being more winded, and that's how fouls come. And I think more people are, because he's so dominant and has been so dominant, especially recently, offensively, you're seeing more teams involve him in action defensively, even though not necessarily at the rim, but just if they get him in the ISO, if they can put him in pick and roll, just to get him more active and get him moving. And he's a big guy, so sometimes it's hard for him to stop. And his contact is different than Max if Maxey hits you.
Yeah.
So it's involving him in the action, and you'll definitely see a lot of that in the playoffs. And I think now it's getting close to the playoffs, and that's why I've always said close to the playoffs. For some teams, the playoff has already started.
That's right.
And you look at the Chicago Bulls, who's playing for a spot. Their playoff has basically already started. Their play-in has already started. So teams are going to go to those techniques that's going to help them win that maybe before they probably stayed away from.
It's like an NFL season now.
Yeah.
Every game matters. It really is. Like this is 12 games left in this NFL season pretty much. I also think Joel's defensive presence and blocks have been up since this whole, he gets more fouls thing. He's been a lot more active defensively in the second half.
That'll do it.
A lot more active. So he gets hit for the one offensive foul game, and then he gets the other. I'll tell you what, though, he was stuck at 5 fouls for a long time.
It was.
Yeah.
I was a great overtime with him with 5 fouls, and then he got through the first, and then I think 1 or 2 minutes into the second one, he got it right. Yeah. On that of all things, too. It couldn't have been one of the ones where he skies over someone and falls on their back while blocking them. It was a little arm push.
Yeah. Doc got some flack online from Philadelphia beat writers that he should have challenged that. Even though he probably would have lost the challenge, he still should have challenged that. Is what they were saying.
It's tough on challenge because any kind of contact, they're not going to change it.
Yeah,
any form of contact.
Embiid really didn't argue it.
But it's any form. It's just the way it goes. Like any form of contact is they're not going to change that. They're not going to say, well, he didn't hit him that much or he didn't hit him that hard, but it was contact.
Yeah, he did. Well, yeah. Levine sold it. Give him credit.
So last night during the telecast, they had Dr. J come on during the third quarter, which was awesome talk. Just hearing him so eloquent, he's awesome.
Dude, he's the best, man.
He's great.
Man.
But I think it was Allah or Kate. It was either Allah or Kate's guy asked him. I forgot which one asked him.
I think it was Allah.
Allah asked him if Embiid was one of the most skilled centers of all time, and I know. A lot of the old guys don't like the whole all-time talk, the comparative stuff. But Dr. J listed some things that Embiid could improve on. And so he says pretty much he said he's not there yet. That was the quote. Do you think Embiid is one of the most skilled centers of all time, Eric?
I think for his ability to size to shoot the ball from deep and still do all the other things around the rim. So, I think he's one of them. But it really depends on, like, what you consider to be skill. Because I'm one to say blocks, rebounds, running the court, defense is skill. Like, that's a skilled talent. When people say skill, they only think offensively. They only think scoring.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you're saying he's one of the most skilled bigs that can shoot jump shots, yes. But when you're talking about all around, it's a lot of guys that can go on that list, man. And it also depends on what, a skill. What skill are we talking about? Moses Malone's ability to offensive rebound and rebound. That skill was unprecedented.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like but one wouldn't compare. They'll say Joel is more skilled because they look at the offensive scoring in different ways. But like a guy that's always telling me about, how great Steph Curry is because he shoots threes. And I'm like, making a lot of threes to me is great, but is that like making a lot of threes? Is that really like a thing that's like separates a guy from another guy? But what if the guy that don't shoot threes score more than the guy that shoots and makes a lot of threes? You see what I'm saying?
DeRozan's a good example of that.
Or James Harden. I'm just saying James Harden and Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry made all those threes, but James got more points. So, but Steph Curry's looked at as the better player.
Yeah.
James got more rebounds, more points, more assists.
Yeah.
So Steph go down as the best 3-point shooter, and he'll have all the 3-point records with a lot of guys on his watch that have more points. But people will say he's more skilled. That's why I'm saying it's like it kind of, I think when you talk about more skilled, it got to be more defined on what it is you're talking about. But if we're saying offensively, yes, he's one of them offensively as far as with his range of different ways of scoring. From there, I say yes, but people also couldn't stop Kareem's hook. Is anything more skilled than that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know it was coming and you couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
You can't get more skilled than that. Wilt Chamberlain. I mean, come on, man. People still accomplishing things, and they say this hadn't been done since Wilt. Yeah. We give Wilt no credit.
It's crazy.
Man.
It's crazy. I was looking at all the great centers. I pull it up on my computer, actually.
I mean, he averaged 50 and 20, man. 50 and 20, man.
So wild.
Yeah, but according to
let me ask you a question. If Joel was to go in college and play right now, do you think he would average 50 and 20?
That's a lot.
Nah, he'd be close though.
No way.
Yeah.
He'd be in the 40s.
No way.
He's 34 right now in the NBA.
College is different. You can zone up, a true zone.
He plays bully ball against
That's the
men.
difference between college and pro. One, you can zone up, and it's a shorter game. Those 8 extra minutes are a big difference.
That's true. I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Yeah, it's tough.
You don't think he'd average more than 40 a game?
No, I think the style of the game, a longer short shot clock, 8 fewer minutes in a true zone makes it tougher to get those types of numbers. Will he dominate? Heck yeah. Those types of numbers. It's just too hard to get. It's not enough time to me.
But wouldn't the fouls also help that? Stop the clock all those times?
Yeah, but I'm saying
fouled like 40 times a game.
But it's still fewer possessions because a true zone, it's not like you can't just have guys. You can have multiple guys just sit in the paint. Where in the league, you can't do that. So the court isn't as open. The 3-point line isn't as for a while. And the paint, the key is smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So everything it's harder. It's harder for guys. That's why you're seeing guys leading scorers averaging 18, 19 points and coming in the league and averaging 25.
Yeah.
Because of the time, the space, the openness of the court, and all of that, and the more possessions. Yeah. But it's a question, though. That's what I'm saying. It makes you think about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. But yeah, also JJ Redick would say Wilt average those numbers because he played against like plumbers and electricians.
Yeah, and they also wasn't allowed to go to the same hotels as their teammates too. So yeah, we're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna talk about some things they went through. Talk about everything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And they didn't have $1 million in trainers and coaches and
nutritionists. They weren't going to Germany and getting like experimental cell therapy.
If we're gonna call out part of it, call out all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I always laugh at. Because it's like, they're like, oh man, these guys play ball 24/7. They have the best in the world. Well, then how come they're missing so many games?
Yes.
How come any nights off then?
Yeah.
Like, so no one wants to talk about that. But people want to talk about how much they have going for them. It's like, man, talk about both things on both sides of it. Of it. Looking at centers though, what's crazy about Joel though is that he's got the best aspects of a lot of these guys. But what separates him is a lot of these guys, and the game didn't. And I'm not saying these guys couldn't do it. They were just in a different era where they didn't have to do it. Like Hakeem didn't need to play like a guard all the time. That's something that Joel just tends to do. But what I will say, when you brought in defense, it was a good point, and rebounding. I'd say Joel is not. If you were going to rank all these guys in rebounding, Joel would not. He's
not near where he should be.
No,
as far as rebounding.
He's not. Especially in today's era, like he should be averaging like 15 a game, dude. You know,
you see him do it some nights, but he's not on every night.
I mean, you look at that our streak. We just like these 9 games or so. I think it was only 3 games he had over 10. He had 10 double figures.
Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. But I will say defensively, I've seen Joel stay on a guard for the majority of his shot clock. Most of these guys on this list could not do that in their primes even.
Yeah, we don't know that though.
I mean, even as
I'm just saying we don't know that because they weren't switching everything. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Guys didn't switch everything because of the way the game was played. You switch, all of a sudden that big guy rolled down on that little guard. It was because the rules were different as far as how you could defend that guy. Mm-hmm. So if you switch that big roll down, you couldn't roll that guy from the corner in and pre-switch that. You couldn't do all of that stuff. That was illegal defense. So that's why they didn't switch and do all of that stuff. So I'm saying we really don't know if they could have done that.
Yeah.
But the way the rules were, you could not do that, do the things that they're doing right now defensively to combat the switch and the big rolling. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it.
I'll give you an example. So last night Chicago runs a pick and roll, and Joel takes, Levine and the big rolls, and James is guarding that big. Nowadays, Tobias can run in there and switch, and James can go out and take that guy in the corner.
Yep.
But when I played, that was illegal for you to do that. The only way Tobias could go into the paint, if he went into the paint, he had to go double the ball, or it was illegal defense.
Wow.
So that's what I'm saying. Rules like that makes it difficult for people to switch like they do now and to be able for a big to guard that guard. That's why you couldn't do that. It was illegal on the backside.
I guess add to the list of things that how the game has changed how the guys play.
I'm saying, but most people that are saying all this don't understand how all of that stuff comes in. So I'm trying to show you and show people
100%
how different it was and why people played a certain way sometimes, because you had to.
Not to say I would have expected 1993 Ewing to be guarding like guards by the 3-point line.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he could, I don't know
if they switched late in the clock, like people would do it late in clocks, then they knew that the shot's going to go.
They had no choice. Yeah, they just had to sneak on them.
You would do it then, or you would trap.
Yeah,
and just rotate, and then that big would, when he kicks it out, he would rotate back to the rim.
But I think that's where I see Joel just so different in so many ways, because in a way he is kind of a throwback big. Like people always wonder, like, oh, what happens if you take that guy and put him in today? Joel, I think, is one of the guys who's closest to that. What happens if you take that guy and put him in today's game? I think that's what Joel looks like. He looks like the dream. If you took his DNA and put him into someone in like now,
they would play more like Joel than they played more like their time. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's what the game calls for, and that's what coaches want them to do.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's Shaq, and Shaq even said it. Shaq is more like Giannis than he is Joel.
Yeah, as far as like just bully, like
just
bulldozing into the lane,
attacking and being able to kick out to wide open. Like his game is more, Giannis actually has the ball more, but I'm just saying as far as their dominance in the paint,
yeah,
it's more similar. But yeah, I mean that's why I said Joel offensively, but some of those guys that like Ewing could shoot it.
Yes,
but he never shot threes, so we don't really know if he could shoot threes.
Yeah,
they were just they just didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't need to.
The guys are pros, man. Like it's a lot of bigs that can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
They just weren't asked to go out there and shoot. I mean, but it's different, if Joel's playing against true 7-foot post-up guys that get the ball, get high volume guys. Every game he's playing against those guys, and they putting him in the basket, and he got to work and post and bang all day like that. That's different. If that happened, he's not going to be like, man, I'm not going out there and guard that guard every time.
Yeah.
And then rolling, this guy rolling, he getting that easy bucket. Then they're going to be like, he scored on you. Like, it's different, man. If he's playing against that every night. I mean, he's the biggest every night.
Yeah. Alonzo Mourning would have adapted really well, too. Because he had a nice shot. He could play D. He could roll out. Alonzo Mourning's one of those bigs that can roll out and guard.
Like Zoe could roll into a big and switch, and like he could have did all that. But Zoe also wasn't as big as a lot of those other guys too.
That's true. Yeah. What was he, like 6'10"?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and that's that's what Irving also said last night too. Before he got into it, he said he was looking for the words for it. He's like, I've seen guys in my past do what Joel does. They just weren't as big as Joel.
Yeah.
So probably saw guys that were like 6'9" do these kind of things, like in 6'10" do these kind of things, right?
I mean, not really. I mean, I've seen 7-footers. Kevin Garnett did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But Kevin Garnett would be a center right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. In fact,
Kevin Garnett did everything that he's doing and more. And probably and more of a passer and handling the ball. Like, so it's been done. But nobody sees Kevin as a center because he was a power forward.
Yes. Yeah.
He's 7 foot.
I actually think Garnett should draw more. Joel should draw more comparisons to Garnett than he does. You never hear them mentioned in the same sentence.
Because Joel's considered a center and KG wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And he started – you saw the transition toward the end with Boston. He was playing full-time, like 5 for them.
Because everybody started getting smaller.
Yeah.
Teams, everybody started getting smaller and extend the court. That's when the game started changing. But come on, man. So I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, are we comparing him to bigs, or are we comparing him to centers?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because, Tim Duncan played center and they never called him center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever. His whole career. They would call him 6'8" guys center so he could be power forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's funny. Good.
I know in regards to the whole if Embiid was playing in college, would he average 50 and 20? I got one for you, Eric. I saw this trending on social media last week. If Embiid was on a 16 seed in college, would that team win the championship?
No.
Could he take any 16 seed to the championship?
No.
No?
Not if he's averaging like 25 points a game. Like
those are the college game is too different, man. Like, it's too different. The shorter, the way they can zone up, and like he can't guard 5 people. He can't. I mean, they still got to get him the ball.
All right, you put him on Furman then.
No.
Furman won a game without Joel. We just need like 5 more.
Yes. No.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying it was Colin Cowherd's show. They said Giannis and Embiid, you put them on any 16 seed, they would win the championship. And then some people online took it a step further, saying you put Embiid or Giannis on the girls' team's lowest seed, and they'd win in the men's bracket.
I knew that was going to get him good. This is what people look to try to talk about, Eric, to try to fill some airtime.
That's horrible.
All right. We'll refrain away from the March Madness talk. Okay, so we talked about it. We're playing a rematch of last night's game against Chicago Wednesday night. Spread's not out yet. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you think you guys win this game? Did we have a bounce back? And what will you be looking for in this matchup on Wednesday night?
Yes, we win. Yes, we have to win. Yes, we need to win. It's a huge game. First game of this road trip. Team that just beat us. You lose the series to this team. Have to win. You have to win it. Make up from last night. Make up for, going forward. Tough stretch. No better way to get the ball rolling in the right direction by getting the win on the road before you go further west.
We win. I think it's a lot closer than I'm going to want it to be. I'd love it to be like a blowout, kind of like what we did with Miami the next game. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be closer than we want. And if Harden doesn't play, man, Maxey needs to step up, and our boy Tobias needs to step up again. You have 14 and 9 off 11 shots. Gonna need more involvement, especially if Harden's out, for sure. And if Harden toughs through it, I mean, that's awesome too. But we definitely have the firepower to play without Harden and still win. And real fast, 109 to 105 in a double OT game.
Yes.
We were scoring 140 and giving up 140 in 4 quarters 2 weeks ago. 109 to 105 in double OT.
Crazy.
60 minutes of basketball.
Tempo. Control. That's playoff basketball. You control that tempo, and you cut those possessions down. Don't take a lot of quick shots.
That's supposed to favor us, though, isn't it?
I'm just saying, but that's how you get these lower scores.
Man, that's I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
It was an ugly game, but
Billy Donovan was throwing out his Florida Gators defense against us last night.
So yeah, I think we win. It just it's tight. I think it's within like 5 points. We win.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully you guys are right, and hopefully we win Wednesday night because we got a big game Friday night, and we'll get into that on our Friday episode when we play Golden State. That's gonna be wait, you're gonna be at that game, Eric?
Yes.
Wow. You know, I feel good about that game. Eric's gonna be in the building. He's gonna give us that magic.
Snowball.
I mean, we're going. You know, one of my younger boys, not my youngest, the next to youngest is a
big Curry fan,
of course. And it was his birthday present.
Oh, nice.
His younger brother is coming, and he's going to wear his Harden jersey.
Ah, nice.
So if you see me with a Harden and a Curry, you know, I'll have my Sixer stuff on.
All right.
That a baby.
So we'll at least be 2-1.
You wearing your own jersey, Eric?
No. So my son that's a Curry fan is supposed to wear my jersey. He's supposed to wear the jersey with it's not an old school, it's not a throwback. They're not wearing their throwbacks. It's a recent jersey, got Filla on the front, and then he just got
your name
Snow
on it.
and 20 on the back.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
He's supposed to wear that, and he's supposed to bring the Curry jersey. I'm trying to set it up for them to meet Steph,
Oh,
so
that's
Steph
cool.
can sign it. He's supposed to do that. We'll see what happens when we get in there, because I don't push my kids one way or another. I let them. They like who they like.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So hopefully Steph has a big game for your kid, and the Sixers win. So everyone's happy in the game.
Yeah, I mean they're not permitted to wish the Sixers to lose. So they're not vocal.
Yeah.
They're allowed, not for me.
That's when you step in and make them.
That's when I step in. Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right, fellas. Well, Eric, we hope you have a good time at the game on Friday, and see you guys. We'll see you guys Friday for our preview of that game that Eric's going to.
All right.
Happy birthday to the little guy.
Yeah, happy birthday to the little guy.
Yeah, peace.
All right, see you, fellas.